Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're basically becoming molecular chefs. We are going to follow the exact step-by-step recipe for creating one of the most well-known genetically modified crops out there, golden rice. So let's get right into it and open up this incredible recipe book. It all kicks off with what sounds like a simple question, but it's actually pretty profound. How in the world do you add a vitamin into a plant? You can't just sprinkle some vitamin A powder on the soil and call it a day, right? The real answer is so much more elegant and frankly amazing. To change a plant's biology, you literally have to go in and rewrite its most basic instruction manual. You need a recipe, written in DNA, that tells the plant's own machinery how to build something brand new, step by step. And in the case of golden rice, that recipe is all about making a super important nutrient. So why go through all this trouble in the first place? Well, the stakes are incredibly high. For millions and millions of people, especially kids in the developing world, rice is their main food source, but it's missing a key ingredient, vitamin A. And that deficiency is a massive global health crisis. It can cause blindness and it weakens immune systems. And that is the huge global problem scientists were trying to crack. So what was the big idea? It was something called biofortification. And honestly, it's brilliant. Instead of relying on supplements, what if you could tweak the food itself to produce the nutrient it's missing? The mission was to get rice to make beta-carotene, which is what our bodies turn into vitamin A. Okay, so the magic ingredient we're after is beta-carotene. You definitely know this stuff. Think carrots. That bright orange color? That's beta-carotene. Our bodies are just amazing at converting it into the vitamin A we need for our eyes and our immune system. The problem? Rice plants make it in their leaves, just not in the grain, which is the part we eat. So, to get the rice to start making beta-carotene in the grain, scientists had to give it a new set of instructions. They did this using a transgene, which is just a fancy word for a gene that's been moved from one organism to another. It's like literally inserting a new recipe card into the plant's cookbook. Now, here's a really key point. This wasn't some simple one-gene fix. No way. Turns out, you need to build a whole new biochemical assembly line inside the rice grain. And that required 3 new transgenes. 2 of them, phytoene desaturase and zeta-carotene desaturase, are like workers on that assembly line. And the 3rd gene is kind of like the supervisor that gets the whole process started in the grain. Okay, so we've got our ingredients, those 3 transgenes. Now for the really cool part, the detailed step-by-step recipe for actually getting these genes into the rice. This is where the magic of genetic engineering really happens. And forget everything you've seen in the movies. The main tool here isn't some futuristic laser or a tiny syringe. It's actually a bacterium, a little guy from the soil called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. In the wild, this thing is an absolute master at hijacking plant cells, which makes it the perfect tool for scientists to borrow. And this is where things get really, really clever. So in nature, this bacterium has this little loop of DNA called a plasmid. It injects a piece of it into a plant to cause a tumor, which then makes food for the bacterium. So what do scientists do? They disarm it. They take out the bad stuff, the tumor genes, and replace them with the good stuff, our golden rice genes. They keep the incredible delivery system, but they change the payload from harmful to helpful. So step 1, you've got to prep the genetic payload. First, scientists grab the 3 genes they need for that beta-carotene pathway. Then they kind of stitch them together into one neat package, which is called a gene construct. And finally, they load that package into the bacterium's modified plasmid, which is now basically our delivery truck or vector. All right, payload is prepped. Step 2, making the delivery. You basically just mix the rice cells with the engineered agrobacterium. Now, when those plant cells are a little bit wounded, they send out these chemical signals. It's like a dinner bell for the bacteria. This signal fires up the bacterium's machinery, and it injects the tDNA, the part carrying our golden rice genes, right into the plant cell's own DNA. It is a beautiful, natural process, just repurposed for something amazing. Okay, so the gene package is in. Mission accomplished, right? Well, not quite. A single cell is a long way from a whole field of rice. This next phase is all about taking that one successfully changed cell and growing it into an entire plant. Welcome to the art of plant tissue culture. Look, this process isn't perfect. Not every single cell is going to accept the new genes. So how do you find that 1 in a million cell that actually worked? Well, along with the golden rice genes, scientists add in a marker gene. A lot of times this gene gives the cell resistance to an antibiotic, So when you grow all the cells on a medium that has that antibiotic in it, only the ones that were successfully transformed can survive. It's a simple but super effective way to find the winners. Okay, so once you found your champion cells, the really patient work begins. For the first few weeks, they just divide and become this little blob of cells called a callus. Then you use plant hormones to kind of coax it into sprouting little shoots. And then finally, after about 12 weeks or so, those shoots get moved to another medium to grow roots. And voila, you have a complete tiny little plantlet ready to go. So, after all of that work, all those meticulous steps, what do you actually get at the end? And maybe more importantly, what does this powerful recipe mean for the future? Well, the result is this: golden rice. A strain of rice that looks pretty much like any other, but it's hiding an incredible secret, locked away inside its grains. And the results are just wow. This process works so well that the rice ends up with a beta-carotene content as high as 85%. That is a massive, potentially life-saving amount of provitamin A engineered right into the food people eat every day. So there you have